got killed, or more than one. And this is a very safe city right now. We don't play games. And you know, it's interesting. We took these careers out, career criminals. They call them careers. They left the word criminal out. We took the careers out of here. And they're now brought back to their homes, or they're in jail, or they're in a jail in another country. And hopefully
some of them got to go home now.
Back. And we have to maintain it. You can't just leave. We have to maintain it. And we've gotten along fairly well with the mayor. You know, she's getting a party that hates that the city's becoming safe. I mean, they're actually criticizing her because the city's becoming safe.
Is it that?
But this is becoming a very. This is right now a safe city. This is considered. This went from the most unsafe city in the country to the safest city in the country. There's no city any safer. That's a pretty big achievement.
Yeah,
and we really did it in 12 days. But if you add an extra week to it, that'd be nice. And I mean, you can go out to dinner. Restaurants are booming. You know, the restaurants were dead. They were dead. Even if you got to the restaurant, then somebody would come in and hold you up. You know, they hold up the whole restaurant.
All the time.
They go to Uber.
Usually,
young ladies in the White House, they call Uber for protection. They'd run to the car because they were petrified to be from the entrance of their building to the car.
Oh, wow.
Now they feel safe. They're in the car, and then the car gets hijacked while they're in the back of the car. This was what we were living in. We were living in hell. People that work in the White House, every time they see me, young women in particular.
I didn't hear more about DC. You hear a lot about Chirac.
I don't even ask them about what. I know exactly. I made their lives.
Know.
Now they're living in a beautiful, glamorous place called Washington, D.C. with no crime, and that's the way it should be. Okay, this is the death penalty for somebody that kills people in Washington, D.C. I think it's capital. It's a very capital punishment, capital city. Right?
Capital D, shout capital.
But this is our capital city. We can't allow that to happen.
Right.
People come in from Iowa to look at the Lincoln Memorial, and they end up getting killed.
Crazy.
It doesn't happen anymore. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's the death penalty for the person that did it. And this goes into effect. Right? Pam, is that right? Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. Not only are we seeking it in Washington, D.C., but all over the country again. And as you saw very recently, we are now moving the inmates who were on death row, who Joe Biden or the auto pen commuted their sentences off of death row. We're moving them to supermax facilities where they will be treated like they're on death row for the rest of their lives.
Whoa!
Okay.
Commuting though does not mean.
Thank you.
So now you're just going to.
I see some of you shaking your heads very positively. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, fellas.
You said on the campaign trail.
I said it.
Are you still on the campaign trail? That's a good joke.
Killed a U.S. citizen or a police officer. So this just reinforces your campaign process.
And most people really like it. And
all these people are afraid of
it's going to serve. You see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professional. These aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people. Some of whom I know, I guess. You know,
dude, I want that job, man. I want to be a paid protester so bad.
With them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics. Steve, did you say
whatever he's talking about? I'll do it. Just pay me. I don't have a job. So.
This is the first time in American history that there is an all-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism.
Turn left on Mirabel Road.
Terrorism, guys.
Violence and terrorism. What we've seen, if you look at whether it be going back to the riots that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaigns, and now the political assassinations, these are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism.
In 3/4 of a mile, turn left on Davis Road.
There is really no parallel like this to anything else in the country right now. There is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, or they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned and executed.
Crazy. I mean, if it's I gotta go literally go kill someone, I guess I don't want that job. But I mean, if you're just talking about
of organization
protests and stuff
that prop them up and allow them to do the acts that they have been doing.
We're looking at the funders of a lot of these groups.
Just make it up.
You know, when you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professional.
with this?
These aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people. Some of whom I know, I guess. You know, probably. You wouldn't know it. You're at dinner with them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics.
Millions.
Steve, could you say a couple of words?
that started with Black Lives Matter and all the way through to the Antifa riots, the attacks on ICE officers, the doxing campaigns, now the political assassinations. These are not lone, isolated events. This is part of an organized campaign of radical left terrorism. It is structured, it is sophisticated, it is well funded, it is well planned. The entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons, and when they're attacking ICE officers, they're attacking federal buildings, or they're isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through. It is terrorism on our soil. Because of this executive order, CASH and Joint Terrorism Task Force, or JTTF, which sits inside the Federal Bureau of Investigation. But for those at home who are worried about terrorism in this country, they understand because the entire force of the federal government to uproot these organizations.
On for every city in America, and the FBI's premier flagship enterprise, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, are honored to lead this initiative with our partners at Treasury and Homeland Security because our citizens are being attacked by, as Stephen said, organized violence, and is being paid for, not by them, by other people. So what we are going to do, combining forces that Scott and I have done in these last few months, is follow the money. People and organizations have collected
Get the
funds
people that are funding it
in America.
Yeah, go get the George Soros or whoever. Get them. Yeah, good.
This executive order
I like this.
and the AG's leadership to lead out and prosecute these individuals. We are properly going to chase them down like the domestic terrorists that they are, and our streets and our communities are going to be safer because the JTTF and the FBI, Treasury and DHS and DOJ are going to combine forces
ABC,
like never before
STD,
to root out this new evil that is
EDB,
perpetrating our criminal activities across our societies. And we are just so thankful for your leadership and recognition of it. It's not easy to do.
Good job. Thank you very much, Pam.
President Trump.
What?
Besides Antifa, is there a specific group or person you're targeting for this?
Any organized group.
Any
Any organized group who is committing these
Any of them. Any of them.
I believe it was in Oregon where you had a federal building where there were men in black ski masks who were committing acts of violence, who were shutting down a government building. To the president's point, they don't come from nowhere. These are paid people. This is organized. They're committing acts
Follow
of
the money,
terrorism on
guys.
American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing violence against the American people.
When you go out to Portland and you see what's happening in Portland, this is like nobody's ever seen anything like it. Every night, and this has gone on for years. They just burn the place down, and the shop owners most of them, but the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like
And they're
3/4
rich.
inch plywood. They don't put stuff
I mean,
on
I
it
guess
because
they
know it's
could
gonna be
use
burned
this
down.
to like
These are professional
follow the
agitators.
money up to George
These are bad
Soros, whomever.
people, and they're paid a lot of
Arrest
money by
that
rich
guy,
people,
and then you've
some of
taken
whom
one
we
of
know.
like the
I'm sure
20th
I know some.
wealthy people or something.
If
You've
I
taken
knew,
their
I
money,
wouldn't say shit because I'll be in
put it back
trouble
in
because Pam will say,
circulation,
"Why are you
and they can
associated
just like
with this
haze
person?"
the,
But I will tell you that these are bad,
what's
bad people,
called
and they're
the
patient.
oligarchs
These are
can stop
crazy
the
people, and they're trying to finish up with
corporate.
the cities because I think we're going to whip the cities
Corporate
back into shape, and we have to.
rich.
We cannot let our cities.
Oligarchs can, it's
and
like
that's
two
a
teams that
small
are fighting
example,
right now
but it's
in
the
the
most
sky
violent
with the
example.
Thor
It's every night,
and the
they've
other
done it for years.
Greek
You think
gods
maybe at some
power
point they made their
control.
point.
Well, you guys should gangbang with each other. That sounds great. I mean, there's going to be a lot of professional anarchists who are going to be out of a job, but professional
Actually,
agitators.
anarchists. Yeah. Go ahead. What are you defending? Let's see you defend them, Jeff.
Professional.
So that we
I want to be a professional.
explain this in our stories.
I might put that
You
on
don't
my.
explain it right, though, Jeff.
If I
Go
do
ahead.
that,
Let's go. Maybe let's give
you
you
know where
another
I'm
chance.
going.
Go ahead.
I mean, probably going there anyways, but faster.
Well, Soros is
Much
a name
faster.
certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know.
Let's
Soros is
go.
a name that I hear. Some pretty rich people.
Oh, yeah?
That are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman.
Soros, man.
Pretty
Soros
rich
going
guy,
down.
yes, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people.
Yeah, names
These
of
are the
people.
same names. But they're bad, and we're going to find out. If they are funding these things, they're going to have some problems because they're agitators and they're anarchists.
You know what's funny though is they kind of gotten choked on their own rhetoric though, because they're like, well, okay, you're right. So you're saying you're going to go arrest George Soros? Yeah, I mean, I've heard of that. I've heard he comes up.
It's also international. The Netherlands is looking at also designating.
We just signed a death penalty, so it depends where it is. But if they kill somebody, which they do, I mean, people are dying. You go out to Portland, people die out there. Many people have died over the years in Portland. Portland is, I don't know how anybody lives there. It's amazing. But it's anarchy out there, and that's what they want. They want anarchy, like when they attacked Seattle and took